is The Bump, the one podcast SA footy fans need to hear, where the biggest names tackle the biggest South Australian footy stories. Roo, Dits, Bernie, Jars, Triple M's The Bump.
It is Port Adelaide and the Crows this week after round 0 took place over the weekend. What do you think of round 0, boys?
G'day, Dits. G'day, everybody. Carlton GWS on the Gold Coast were impressive. Carlton was outstanding in that performance against the Lions. The Pies looked a bit rusty for me, but they will bounce back. They just.
But is it a good concept?
Playing them up in the east and north. I can see why you're doing it, just to continue to grow that part of the game. That's where they want to get more eyeballs and more people participating. So
crowd numbers were extraordinary.
TV ratings were pretty good.
Yeah, I think the AFL will back it in next year.
They won't just do it once.
I don't like it.
Apart from Sydney, Melbourne, they were all very good games.
Terrific games, Dits. But the other 10 clubs were just sitting there waiting.
Yeah. So why don't you like it? Is that your problem?
No, I just think if they want to do that, those games were very good, as you said. So fixture them for round 1 next year when we can all start.
Yeah.
No, Collingwood v GWS, stalled out venue over there. Do that.
Yep.
It felt like they missed an opportunity because we had a long weekend, and I didn't realise Victoria was also a long weekend. There wasn't a game on the Sunday. Like a Sunday night would have been massive, wouldn't it? Like you think of the
TV.
Television audience on the Sunday night.
Yeah, they did miss the boat.
Whether they could have had an Adelaide game or a Melbourne game that would have had more eyeballs as well.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Look, I think it's going to stay because of the northern states. They got a lot of benefit out of it.
They got Gold Coast on top of the ladder for the first time ever, and they got GWS in second place.
They looked all right.
GWS looked very good. They could have won. They could have and should have won the flag last year.
They're my flag
They
favourite.
missed
I agree,
that result against Collingwood by 1 or 2 points or whatever it was.
Yeah.
They would have went the whole way after that.
What about you? A football fan.
Look, do you know what? I'm going to sound like a Noel here, but I've shared this with Roo before, and he hasn't always agreed with me. But I've been saying for years, for example, when you go down to Hobart and play a game of footy, don't send Fremantle down there. Send Collingwood down there.
Yes.
Don't send West Coast Eagles down there. Send Richmond down there. And this is a similar story for me. If you're going to promote the game and you really want to get it happening, what they did is sent the 4 biggest Melbourne clubs up there, and that's what you've got to do.
Fair call.
Collingwood have got to they've got to pull their weight as well, and start going and playing away and helping these fledgling clubs. And what we saw at Gold Coast on the weekend was magnificent.
And Collingwood, they do send them to like the Western Sydney and to the Gold Coast. They just don't send them to the small stadiums where they can't fit them, like Ballarat or Manuka and things like that. Otherwise, they're butchering their money. But good crowds, good TV. I think it'll happen again.
And like you said, some good games.
Yeah, very good. All right. The Crows this week kick off their season up against the Suns away from home. Suns were really good, Roo.
Yeah, they were good. Richmond were terrible and depleted in that game, though. So let's look at that. They kicked 11 in a row, but then when Richmond turned on, Richmond kicked 9 in a row. GWS's midfield were brilliant, but equally Richmond were terrible. They had a young ruckman, they had the inexperienced midfield. They did have Hopper and Taranto going through there, but they absolutely bullied them, Gold Coast, when they were on fire. But as I said before, when Richmond got going, they kicked 9 in a row as well. Yeah. So some good signs. Their forward line, Gold Coast looked pretty good as well with King. He looks fit. Lukosia's always dangerous, and Levi Casbolt. So that will stretch Adelaide's defence with Keane, Butts, and then you either have Hinge, Worrell or Michael Annie pick up Lukosius, I think. So it'll be a great game. It's 27 degrees, 0 to 4 millimetres of rain up there on Saturday night. They're saying the Gold Coast, so it could be interesting conditions. So Ken, Laird, Crouch, Dawson, Pedler, Rankin, Rochelle and Berry go with Rao, Anderson and Tuke Miller.
Rao and Anderson and Tuke Miller, they were all very good on the weekend.
Rao, my God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what number 1 draft pick.
And the thing
number
that
2
I was
draft
impressed
pick in Anderson and Tuke Miller's a gun.
with Gold Coast is Damien Hardwick coached this group differently than he did the Richmond Football Club because of the players, his playing group. So they were kicking a bit more Gold Coast, where Richmond, when he first took over, they were a handball type side.
Yeah.
That's good coaching.
Yeah.
And I look, I think this is a really a big concern for the Adelaide Crows. This ain't going to be an easy game.
It's never going to be easy.
Telling you now.
And Gold Coast are favourites. Gold Coast are $1.60, Crows are $2.20. They're hard to beat up there.
Yeah.
Gold Coast midfield, as you said, Roo, got class, home ground advantage. Confidence will be sky high. Absolutely. So the Adelaide Crows, they need to come out of the blocks fast.
All right. What are you hearing about Tex Walker, Roo?
Tex.
Well, I heard that Tex just gave his back a tweak late last week. He didn't train on the weekend, didn't train yesterday, just walked laps. Generally, with a back like that, you get up after 3 or 4 days. I'd be shocked if he doesn't play, but I haven't asked anyone down there if it's anything worse than that.
He'll play. He'll play.
You'd think so.
He's got to play.
As long as you can play and move, backs can be very restrictive.
So it's fairly settled. The Crows line up this week.
I would think very settled.
No real big changes. No.
I can't see any change. I think you'd see Burgess debut for the club for Thilthorpe.
Okay.
Tony Burgess, like it.
Yeah, he can do a bit of ruck work and play the third tall, and he's been very impressive over the summer. Apart from that, I think the two key backs will be Keane and Butts.
Yep.
And all the usuals around him.
No. Right, Riley Thilthorpe, we were told, could have been sort of 10, maybe 12 weeks out. He spoke on the breakfast show on Triple M. It might be a little bit longer.
I'm hearing a lot of different things, but I think about 10 weeks before I start running, which is a bit frustrating. It'll take at least a month to build up, I'd imagine.
So if he can't run for 10 weeks, how long to get fit after that?
He'd be playing in 14. If he runs in 8, he'd be playing in 12, I think.
And he'll need another pre-season, won't he?
Well, that's your 4 weeks.
Do you risk him?
What do you mean risk him?
I don't know. That's a risk.
No. Risk. They don't risk blokes these days. I mean, 10 to 12 weeks is a long time, Jars.
It might be longer.
It might be, but it might not be.
Okay.
I think, let's say it's 12 to 14 weeks. You've still got another 10 weeks on top of that. You've got a long time before finals.
Okay.
All right, are you putting the Crows down for a win this weekend?
I think it's a 50-50 game.
Yep.
I'm hoping they win.
Gold Coast.
Gold Coast. All right, let's move on to Port Adelaide. Forward line for me has been the issue. Don't know who's going to play, the 6 forward positions. And now Ollie's gone down, the big hope. Ollie Lord.
Oh, wow. What's he? Out 6 to 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Cheapest. We're getting some injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have got bone bruising and actually
hard.
cracked a bone, didn't he?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to be out for a long time. Doesn't need an operation. Look, Dixon's going to play. We know that, but he's banged up. He looks sore in the trial game, and I'm not joking. Marshall has had apparently not a great summer. He's going to play.
Like missed a lot of pre-season, has he?
Yeah, not exactly. Body's not in great nick.
God.
So you're not going to second ruck Dixon because you'll kill him. You can't second ruck Marshall because he doesn't ruck. You're either going to play 2 rucks, Sweet and Soldo, or you're just going to do what they did last year and use Finlayson as a second ruck. I think that's the way they'll go. I don't think they'll play 2 rucks, but they didn't play Finlayson in the trial against Freo.
I think they have to play the 2 rucks to preserve Dixon.
No, but if they play Finlayson, they don't have to.
I don't think they'll play Finlayson.
You don't reckon?
No.
You reckon they've had a guts full?
Well, I don't know. If they were confident with him, they would have played him in at least one trial.
So if they play 2 rucks, then they only have Dixon and Marshall up forward. Correct. You're not going to play Sweet and Soldo in the forward line. You wouldn't have thought.
No, they'll just rotate them off the bench, and then you got some real, got
bit
some
of a restriction
forwards.
when you do that.
And no Sam Powell-Pepper. But you're going to smash the Eagles by 100 points.
Well, Roo, you think they're going to be a bit better than they've looked, don't you?
I think that at this stage they might be a bit better. Let's just say this week they have McGovern look good against the Crows. He's a very, very good player. And Barras is playing well down there. So they've got 2 good key backs down there. So that'll make life a bit harder for Port's forwards. In the middle of the ground, Tim Kelly's fit, and so's Elliot Yeo. So they've got 2 guns there. Gaff's fit on the wing.
Yeah.
Oscar Allen will be back in their forward line. Tyler Brockman's a recruit from Hawthorn who's a good small forward. Harley Reid will add a little bit of quality into the side, so will young Elijah Hewitt as well. They haven't got any rucks, though, this week, so if Soldo can get on top and give Horn, Francis, Butters and Rosie first crack, they'll be too good. I think they'll be too good. I think they'll have a 10-goal win. I'm just saying it might not be your 140-point win.
You said a moment ago the Crows are settled. I've tried to pick a Port Adelaide side here. It's very, very hard.
Well,
it's very difficult.
What have you got?
Well, I'm not joking. There things like the half-forward flankers, the wings, half-back flankers. Yeah. I can't settle on who should be in there.
So who have you... Okay, we'll read them out. Who's your back line?
Well...
Oh, no.
No, I'm serious. I don't know.
Did
I've picked that.
All right, well, half-back and back line. You got Bergman, Radaglia, Houston,
Yeah.
Farrell, Aaliyah, Zirk, Thatcher.
I think Bergman will play on the wing, won't he?
Yeah, but all right. So then
geez.
try and fit Horn, Francis, and the other three into the midfield. Plus, we're told Wines will play in the midfield as well. Willem Drew.
They'll rotate through the forward line. Rosie, Butters, and Horn Francis will rotate through the forward line because you got to play Wines or Drew in the midfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Then you got Boak.
Traveller.
Boak I reckon he'll be on the wing.
No, he's got to go through the middle.
Boak doesn't play in the
He
middle.
won't play in the
anymore.
middle. So he's like a half-forward flanker,
All
I
right,
reckon.
half
Yep.
forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Burn Jones, who they turned into a half-forward last year, but
Be lucky to get a game.
he'll be in there because I think, as you know, they're a coach's favourites. I think he's one of the
He is. Yeah.
one of the faves.
Yeah.
Lockie Jones, at the moment,
He'll
I've got
play
him
half-back.
maybe on the bench. All right, so if he's at half-back, where does Houston play? Zirk, Thatcher, Farrell,
Well, you have
who
Zirk,
played half-back
Zirk,
last year.
Zirk, Thatcher, Aaliyah, and Asava as your three tools.
Yeah.
You have to play Houston
Off
back
half
there.
back because you need
You
his
have to
leg.
play Burton back there.
And-
you play Jones back
Yeah.
there. And maybe DBJ in the back line. Who you got? Boak and Bergman on your wings. So Wines in the
Now,
middle.
Kenny also came out and said he loves Burgoyne. So I think he's on a wing.
Yeah, I reckon he might miss. That's where you're getting a bit tight, but that's.
I think it's not settled at all for me. Now, the other bloke we haven't mentioned too, I think really should get a game is Josh Sin.
Yeah.
didn't play in the last trial.
No, he
it's not a
didn't,
good
but-
sign.
Yeah, but I
Impressive.
think they were trying
Yeah.
to rest a couple of blokes too because
Yeah.
Sin had a niggle. All I'm
Who's
saying,
your
Rick,
three-
I think
who's
there's
your
a
small
lot
forwards?
of.
Who's
Yeah,
your
but they're
small
not
pressure
big name.
forwards?
The blokes that you're talking about, it's Burgoyne or Sin. If you haven't got, if you're not debating over those blokes at round one, you're in trouble. They're not key position players. They're not game breaking
but they're
players.
runners.
But I
They're
don't
runners.
think the lineup is settled though.
Okay. Gee, that's okay. Because you got some injuries now with Lord.
That's right. Power Pepper,
Power
the
Pepper.
problem there.
Who's your three smalls?
Well, Rioli's in there.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
McEntee seems to be favoured over Frankie Evans.
Frankie. Yeah. Oh, Evans. Yeah.
And then both might get a game. But
Yeah.
you have either Butters or Rosie or
remember
Horn
the-
Francis in the forward
Remember
line.
Dylan Williams last year? He played really well, and they like him. Now he's not in there anywhere
He's
at the
a
moment.
halfback,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So there's quite a
good
few.
call, Dits.
There's a lot to choose
Yes.
from. For the
Selection.
flanks, the wings, and
Yeah.
half
But
forward and
they're,
half back.
they're
front.
only on the edgy players.
No, I know they are, but they're still. You got to have them out there. They're
Yeah.
still important to
They're
make
good,
up.
good depth.
Yeah.
You get one or two injuries and you got good players
You got
to come in. That's what you want.
midfield's class, though.
Yep.
You know, those three get going, and Ollie does all the grunt work.
All right. So tell me this: we're told Ollie Wines does start in the middle now.
Yeah.
So who are the other midfielders that start centre bounce?
Two of the three guns.
Two of the three, yeah. So
And they
Horn
just keep
Francis will
rotating.
start up forward.
Yep.
So Butters, Rosie,
I reckon you
Wines.
have two of them in there and Horn Front's up forward.
forward
One of
and
them
then-
will go
yeah,
off,
that's
one
it.
will go to the
That's
forward
it.
line.
Yep.
And you always have one of Drew or Wines.
Yep.
And sometimes both of those.
Yep.
That's it. There you go. There's your fourth.
And we're
mid.
chalking Port down for a comfortable win.
I'm going 100
Yeah.
points plus. Sunday, 4 o'clock.
I'll go closer to 60.
60.
Dits, are you calling for Triple M?
Yep. On the weekend,
Nice.
doing the Port Adelaide game.
Nice. Just going back to the Brisbane Lions and Carlton game, did you love the Blues Brothers?
Yeah, something good. Yeah, for sure.
That was just that they're just all Queensland Brisbane Lions supporters.
Yeah.
Do you think that'll just go start
What?
to?
Who's supporters?
They're Brisbane Lions supporters. That's only just in Queensland.
No, you mean they're Carlton
the
fans
Carlton
that
Blues
live up
baggers,
there.
but they're Carlton supporters that live in Brisbane.
Yeah, live in Brisbane.
Carlton
yeah.
have got fans everywhere.
Now,
Haven't
can
they?
you see that going to the MCG Collingwood?
Oh, I reckon.
A whole MCG full of Blues Brothers supporters dressed up.
Yeah.
Can you see it? Can the Adelaide Crows and Port Adelaide come up with something like that?
Think
about it.
Well, like
tingles.
what?
Well, I don't know. Dress up. That was sensational. That was
They have their
magnificent.
prison bars, the Port Adelaide.
No, well, I don't know. I'm just trying to get out there. Entertainment. Football's about entertainment. I reckon they're onto something, these Blue Brother boys.
No, it worked well. It was good.
Well, I just thought it was good for the game.
All got
All
them
right.
back from 46 points down.
It did.
How
You've
do
been
you stop
listening.
momentum?
Get the ball.
Get the pill.
Keep it off him.
It is harder with 6-6-6 because you can't stack players behind the play.
Click, click, click.
Have you heard of that rule, Jazz?
Oh, mate, all I care about is just hit a target.
Yeah. Righto. You've been listening to The Bump. Enjoy your footy this weekend.
Roo, Dits, Bernie, Jars. Triple M's The Bump.